Future Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger has privately told former teammates and some within the organization that he expects this to be his final season for the Steelers. That's according to an ESPN report. Roethlisberger, a two-time Super Bowl champ in his 18th season and in the final year of his contract, turns 40 in March. He's the winningest quarterback in Steelers franchise history. His 410 career touchdown passes, 8th most in NFL history, and his 62,870 passing yards are also an NFL record, 6th in NFL history, top 10 in the NFL. Again, Ben Roethlisberger privately telling former teammates and some within the organization he expects this to be his final season with Pittsburgh. All right, let's welcome in one of his former teammates, Bryant McFadden. Won 2 Super Bowls together, played 6 seasons with Big Ben. What are you hearing?
Well, here and there are rumors. But when it comes to who he told actually, don't know. But I think it's safe to say when you watch Big Ben, personally as a fan, he's closer to the end of his career than the beginning or the middle. That's the reality of the situation. But for me personally, when I heard the story, I felt like the timing was off. Now, you take attention away from the most important thing, which is trying to get back into the thick of things when it comes to the divisional race, and not to mention playoff race. So, in due time, we will know how legit this story is. But me personally, and just reaching out to some folks in Pittsburgh, they don't know exactly if he actually told someone and who that individual is. They don't know. They're just getting ready for the Baltimore Ravens. They're putting all their chips on the table right now for the most important thing, which is the next ball game, which is the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, he took less money to play this season, right? They said they weren't going to be able to get him on the roster if he didn't change his contract, tweak it a little bit. He wanted to obviously finish his career with Pittsburgh. This really comes as no surprise if it's this season or next season as his last in Pittsburgh. But is there any chance here that the Steelers come out and say, no, you know what, we'd like to have you for another season? Look, the options behind him, let's be honest, they're not knocking you off your socks.
Yeah, they're not.
Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins.
But the future is clearly, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the future is without Big Ben. He's not the same player that he once was. Now, is he the best option on the football team currently? Probably so. But that tells you how bad they are when it comes to the depth, the lack thereof, the quarterback position. So, yes, he probably gives them the best opportunity to win ball games based on what we've seen from Mason Rudolph in this very, very small sample size we've seen from Dwayne Haskins in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. But, when you look at the nature of Big Ben coming into this season, like you said, taking less money to return for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I felt like this would be his last year, regardless of what happens as an individual or when it comes to the team overall production. I felt like this would be Big Ben's last season, and I still feel that way. I still believe this will be his last year.
What's your reaction to the way this news is coming out? Because, look, this is a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, don't you think it'd be a better situation if he's coming out and saying, look, this is going to be my last season, and the respect is given instead of this back channel route?
Exactly. And then the timing, like I said, this is a huge ball game tomorrow for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens. So it's almost like you make this, if this is legit, it comes out on the heels of a huge AFC North game. And like you said, when you look at his career, the championships, the production, being one of the all-time Steeler greats in the organization, a future Hall of Famer, you would like to be able to do it the right way, in my opinion. And I think his fans would love to be able to see him do it the right way.
Right.
As a former teammate, I would love to be able to see Big Ben do it the right way. Right time, being able to enjoy the fruits of his labor in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. So me personally, we just got to wait and see how it all plays out for Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we all do believe this. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know how you guys feel, but I do believe this will be his last season.
Well, if in fact it is his last season in the NFL, his 18th season, what's the message that you would say to Ben Roethlisberger after 18 seasons in the NFL, 2 Super Bowls for the Steelers, the winningest quarterback in Steelers franchise history? He's top 10 in passing touchdowns and passing yards.
Yeah, me personally, my message to Big Ben is I ride with Big Ben by any means necessary. Played in 3 Super Bowls with Big Ben. We won 2. In one of those Super Bowls, he basically put the team on his back and his arms against the Arizona Cardinals. That last touchdown drive to San Antonio was a thing of beauty. Big Ben was a fighter. I was drafted the year after Big Ben in 2005, and by that time, he was already making a name for himself, becoming one of the youngest quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken, to win a championship for that type of organization, receiving all the spotlight, being able to maintain and embrace it the right way as a professional. And most importantly, on Sundays, he was a guy who fought, and he fit the Steeler way. A guy that wasn't flashy, played quarterback like a defender. He left it all on the line. His body, making people miss, just hustling, doing everything in his power to be one of the best Steelers to ever put on their uniform. I tip my hat to him. Whenever that time comes, I tip my hat to him because, like I said, we won 2 Super Bowls together.
I feel like I'm more familiar with Ben Roethlisberger than the 31 starting quarterbacks that the Browns have had since 1999. Like that, because that's all we saw for so many years, the consistency. Yes. Like he was banged up, still went out there and played. Like this is no question, first ballot Hall of Famer. He bullied the Browns. He bullied his way around in the AFC North. I mean, I remember when Carson Wentz was coming out, right? When the Browns were thinking about drafting because they wanted him to be like Big Ben.
Yeah. They
were looking at guys to be like Big Ben. Like they don't make quarterbacks like that anymore. Like he's a mold for quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, the consistency, the length of his career, and his production. And look, I know he fell off in the last couple of years with age. I get that.
It happens.
But, I mean, what he has meant to the city of Pittsburgh and what he has meant to the NFL is what?
What he meant to Pittsburgh, in my opinion, is what Pittsburgh is. Hardworking. Guys that do it the ugly way. They don't want the style way. They don't want the style points. They go out and do it the ugly way. And that's why the city embraced him. Because one thing about Pittsburgh, when you drive to the city, you can feel the hard work. You can see the hard work. And guys that played for the organization, they have to adapt and have that same mentality. And the same can be said for the coaches. So when Bill Cowher and Kevin Colbert decided to draft Big Ben, they wanted a guy who would be willing to be gritty when need be. A guy that was willing to be a team-type player when need be, and not to mention a quality sound leader. And like you said, Hakeem rooted for the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But anytime Seven was on the football field, especially during his prime years, you knew you knew going into that ball game, you had a small shot.
Yep.
A small shot. When we played against the Arizona Cardinals and they scored that touchdown, Larry Fitz scored that touchdown, and I remember Mike Tomlin gathering the guys on the sideline offensively, like, let's go get it done. Let's go do it. Defensively for us, we never doubted our offense. It wasn't about can they go down and kick a field goal to tie the ball game. We felt like they were going to score by any means necessary. And if you watch that drive, the way he went about his business, Big Ben, his pass catchers being able to create separation, Santonio was unbelievable during that drive. That is who Big Ben was in his career. And remember the first Super Bowl, so many people criticized Big Ben because like he didn't do enough. He didn't do anything for us to win that ball game. He proved all the naysayers wrong in the second outing in the championship game in Tampa. Like you said, first ballot, Hall of Famer. You look at the guys he was drafted with in the first round, Eli, Phillip Rivers, Big Ben. Big Ben was the third first-round quarterback in that draft. I think if you had to rank those quarterbacks based on their individual numbers and accolades, I think you put Big Ben number 1.
Ohio State made a mistake not signing him. He went to Miami of Ohio.
It worked out.
That was a chip. That was a chip on his shoulder, though.
Yeah.
That's how he played. Yeah. And then he slipped in the draft in 2004. You remember? You see the video.
No question.
And that was kind of his mentality. He played the backyard-style football. He played with a chip on his shoulder. He embodied what Pittsburgh is: hard-working, blue collar. Go get it done, be gritty.
That's why he fit so well in Pittsburgh. You know, when I got drafted to Pittsburgh, I was a South Florida kid, and instantly I became gritty. Just being in the city, smelling the air. Like, I just turned into a little pit a little bit. You know what I mean? I couldn't wear any sleeves. It's 20 degrees outside. I'm coming from South Florida. What you mean I can't wear any sleeves? And you know what? Instantly I adapted. I'm not wearing any sleeves. Now I bundle up more so than I did when I played the game, because that's who Steelers are. That's who the Steelers are. So hot question for you, Hakeem.
Yes,
I said something like, if you were to rank Eli, Phillip, and Big Ben, the 3 quarterbacks that were drafted in that 04 draft, what's your ranking?
Big Ben 1. Eli 2.
I think the consensus would say that.
Yeah.
In their prime, based on everything that all 3 quarterbacks have done, and I do believe all 3 quarterbacks will be Hall of Famers. I think it's safe to say.
Sure.
But if you, in their prime years, if you needed to go get something done, home or on the road.
I mean, they were all three of those guys.
Yeah. And I might be a bit biased.
Absolutely, of course you are. You won 2 Super Bowls with the guy.
But
I mean, all three of those guys playmakers. But again, Big Ben embodied what Pittsburgh stands for: the hard work, the determination. We're gonna be consistent week in and week out. We're gonna play our brand of football. He embodied that, and again, he's the winningest quarterback in Steelers franchise history, and again, top 10 in career touchdown passes and passing yards. And the news here is he has privately told former teammates that this will be his last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Former Big Ben Steelers teammate Bryant McFadden breaking down here for us on CBS Sports HQ. And for more with BMAC, check him out on his podcast, All Things Covered. It's entertaining. It's engaging. They talk to some of his biggest names in sports and entertainment worlds. Who you got on this week?
Darius Slay.
There you go. Darius Slay on All Things Covered.
Philly, the Eagles.
Download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.